Good evening, everybody, on this lovely wet Friday evening in the UK, in London. Hope you are well. First thing I want to say is, have you booked your free ticket to attend my up-and-coming Women in Business conference, which is taking place at the Jury's Inn in Birmingham in 2 weeks tomorrow? And I'm having an amazing selection of speakers that are going to be attending this event. Have you booked your free ticket to attend this event? It's in Birmingham. It's on August the 4th at the Jury's Inn, Broad Street. And those of you that know about me, I've held several, about 5 London Women in Business events. And this is an event that's going to be launching in the lovely West Midlands in Birmingham. And I'm having a large selection of speakers talking about social media, personal development, public speaking, branding, how to decide what you want to work on in your business, career coaches, which I'm going to bring on our expert speaker in a second, and so much more. And even understand yourself. Why, what do you want to do in your career, in your business? Are you employed? Are you not employed? And the next speaker we're bringing on is an amazing career coach. She's a career expert, career coach. And let me just say hello to some people before I come onto the live. Sarah's just going to be coming on in a second, and then there she comes. She comes on in a sec. So, hi Sharon, hi Ellen. Sharon's one of the speakers. If you can all share this live as well, I appreciate that. Sharon, we got to do a live as well. And she's one of the speakers at the weekend. Ellen, Parker, Amida, and Liz. Hi, Liz. Liz is one of the organisers for Mums in Business Association, and I spoke at their event a couple of weeks ago in Solihull. Hello, Liz. Lovely for support. Looking forward to seeing you all at that event. Nancy, Naby. Hi, Naby. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Tracy. Tracy Jenkins is my events organiser, planner. She runs the whole days of all my conferences. So if you want to connect with her, please do. So let me bring on the lovely Sarah Jones. She's a career coach, and she's going to be talking to you about career changing your career, or you're not going to change your career, or what could be preventing you from doing that. And here she is, the lovely Sarah Jones. Hi there, Sarah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Des. How are you?
I'm great, my dear. I'm great. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much. Yeah. What better way to spend your Friday night?
Well,
with you.
Good. Every day with me. But it's raining cats and dogs. It's raining cats and dogs out there now anyway, so it's good that we're inside. You don't want to be out there. You want to be indoors.
No, yeah, exactly. It's the same here. Yeah.
Cup of tea. Just relaxing. So, Sarah, let everybody know who you are. There's some more people coming onto the live. We've got Namrata. Hi, Namrata. David Paul. Hi, David. I'll respond to you
hi,
later,
David.
Mate. Hiya. So, Sarah, who is Sarah Jones? Everybody know who you are.
Who is she? Oh, my goodness. So I help people sift through finding out what their dream career is. So, as you've probably heard me say before, I mean, on average, we tend to change our jobs about maybe 12 to 15 times in our lives.
Wow,
and that's just our jobs, and it might be we go into one direction, like I know you've kind of reinvented your career. You were a driving instructor and now you're doing your marketing and events and stuff. Similarly for me, I think because we're working longer, hopefully living longer, so it means that we're not always going to probably be doing the same career that we've always done. So that's what I help people to do. I help people that are really motivated to find out actually what's the right career for me, and they're not prepared to sort of stay in the status quo and just exist. This is about actually, I want to be more of the pilot in my own life. So whether that's actually rebooting your career where you are in a current organisation and sort of thinking about, okay, how can I improve my relationships in my current organisation where I am and get to that next position. Or it could be, do you know what? I'm not really sure what I want to do. I haven't got a clue. So we work through all of that. And then sometimes people have got quite a good idea of what they might like to do, but they're scared to admit it, and they just need someone to help them plan through it. So it's all that career stuff, that I'm sure we've all been there, sort of going, oh my gosh, how did I end up here?
And there's lots of people out there there's lots of people out there in jobs that I'm talking about being employed for one, that they're not happy and they're just plodding along And I think I spoke to somebody about this another live where they would bring that unhappiness into the relationship at home.
Definitely, because I mean, if you think about it, our life is like, you've probably heard of that wheel of life exercise, you know, like how what life can be a wheel or a pie with lots of different slices, and it only takes one bit of that wheel to sort of be a bit awry, and it affects the rest of the wheel. And that's sometimes where I start with people in terms of, right, hang on a minute, where does your career fit into your life now? You know, because I was working with somebody recently, and it sounds like quite a small thing, but she was quite resistant to change, but she was so clearly unhappy where she was. And she went, do you know what? And through talking through exercises, she went, I'm just done with London. I'm done with it. I want to go somewhere local, you know, and that sounds like quite a small thing, but for her, who had this high flying career in London, was very attached to her job title, was just like, do you know what? No, this is more about the content of the role, working in a team environment and being local. So, right, it's really interesting what people come out with. Yeah.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So, what would you say? Oh, there's some more people coming onto the live. We've got a full house. We've got Elizabeth Lucas. Hi, Elizabeth. She's coming up in Birmingham next week from London. I'm assuming she's from London.
Great.
We've got Faye Smith. I think, Faye, you're from London as well. Trevor Joy, he's crewed at one of my events before. How you doing, Trevor? Thanks for everybody coming along to this live. This is to promote Sarah Jones, but also the up-and-coming Women in Business Conference, which is taking place 2 weeks tomorrow at Juries in Birmingham. Go along there, go along to the website, book your ticket. You're going to hear Sarah speak and lots of other speakers there as well. So if you can please share this live, because she's going to be talking about some really good tips, and she's the person that you want to connect with. So Sarah, what would be the number one complaint or number one fear that people have in changing their career, would you say?
I think generally, the good old F word, fear. I think generally, whatever aspect of life you're looking at, I think as human beings, sometimes we want to kind of control outcomes. We want certainty. I think our life is designed that way. So you might find people trying to control their relationships, whatever it is, you know, and it's that fear of the unknown and uncertainty, I think, is a massive area for people in terms of, well, how do I know it's going to work? And a lot of the work I do is about, do you know what, if this bit doesn't work, then you just make a different decision and you've learned something. Do you know what I mean? So I think that fear of the unknown, fear of failure, and then, but really, as I mentioned, people sort of really trying to control and say, well, I want it to work, rather than going, do you know what? I think for any area of your life, you have to be able to kind of step into the fear and like almost own it, you know, and even if you take baby steps to your goal, whatever that area of your life might be, it's about embracing all of those parts of you, not just the bits that you like, but also the bit of you that's like, oh, I'm a bit scared, you know, and I'm worried to admit that, so I'm just going to stay where I am. So I think it is that fear of the unknown, but within that there's loads of other fears that come along with that. So yeah.
Fantastic. And I totally agree with that, because those of you that may not be aware, I used to be a driving instructor. 1997 I qualified, and before that I was working for American Oil Company, and I was working I was in the mailroom, and I got moved and promoted into the accounts department, which I hated. The point I'm saying is that I don't think there's nowhere on this earth I will be doing what I'm doing now. And the reason why I left Chevron, they made us redundant. And so I was forced to take action. And at the time, before they made redundancies, I was studying to be a driving instructor anyway. So on top of that, they made us redundant, and KPMG was the career consultancy company that's taken over. They sponsored everybody £2,000.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I had a similar experience. Yeah.
I had no choice.
Oh, it seems to have
It's coming back. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Yeah, it just
We're back.
froze for a whole bit. I don't know what that was.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
everybody. Don't worry, everybody. That was a commercial break, by the way. That was a commercial break, so don't worry about that.
Sponsored by the International Space Station.
Yeah, sponsored by Des O'Connor's Women in Business. All right, so I've got loads of questions for you. Before we got loads of people. We got Dawn Vernon. Hi, Dawn. Sarah Ross. Hi, Sarah. She's one of the speakers. Are speaking at the Women in Business conference on next 2 weeks as well. Lucy Giggsy. Hi, Lucy. Shaquille is also speaking as well.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. Hi, Shaquille. Christine Williams. Hi, Christine. Hope you're well. David Paul goes, by the way, peeps, I've had some of her time at one of Desi's events, and she is spot on with her thinking. Yes, she definitely knows her stuff. Elizabeth Lucas says, definitely, if they're not happy at work, they cannot be happy going back home, and that is where depression and stress comes in.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't actually answer your original question, but it is like that wobbly wheel. That's all right. You know, because people deal with stress and pressure in different ways, and one of the ways is like sometimes, unfortunately, we take it out on the people closest to us, you know, or you might just withdraw. Well, everybody deals with stress differently. Yeah.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. Surpassing excellence. Hi, Des. Lovely seeing you again. Hello, my dear. I don't know who that is, but inbox me. Not being rude, but I'm trying to remember who. I can't see your picture. Elizabeth Lucas. Yes, fear of unknown and pressure of decision making. Yeah. And unsure of what they want. Serpa. Good night, grandchildren. Wan, go to sleep.
Okay. But it's interesting what you was. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Des. Carry on. Go on.
Yeah, sorry. I became pretty good at failing quite often, so I lost the need to fear it.
That's really stepping into it. That's a really great reframe, isn't it? That's a really great reframe. Was that Shaquille that said that? Yeah.
Shaquille, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like, again, it's not a swear word, is it? Failure. It's like, hang on a minute, what can I learn? What can I take forward? It's about having that sort of, I talk about it a lot, and you see a lot written about it, about having that flexible, open mindset, not just that closed mindset of like, everything I do has to be this way. It's all about me. Because sometimes there are other circumstances, like for your example, you know, being made redundant. And I'm sure many of us, like on the call, I've been made redundant. And it was really weird because
it's scary. But Sarah, sorry, when it happened to me, it was scary because if I didn't qualify, then what would I have to go out and back into the market? And I was in like, I was like 25, I was like 26, 27. And it's scary because, you know, we didn't know this was coming. I mean, they did give us about a year's notice, which was good because it was an American company. But it's scary. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's right. I was just retracking back. Back. Like, it was frightening. Like, imagine you got your job and you got a mortgage and you're paying your bills and everything's going on, and then that's taken away from you like that.
Yeah, exactly. But it can be, you know, going back to Shaquille's point about failure, reframing, you know, seeing it as a, you know, I'm really good at it. You can take that really personally and go, oh my God. And we do have this tidal wave of emotions that happens with any change, like grief, shock. We go through that curve and we cycle through it. But actually, for a lot of people I work with, it can be the very thing that frees them up. And it's really, I hate to say it, but it's normal these days to be, it's not a bad thing. It's not a reflection on you. It's very, unless you've been performance managed and you would know about that anyway. But, you know, very often it's just about restructuring numbers on a page. So I've worked with a lot of people that come in with war wounds, almost like, oh my God, I've been made redundant. And a lot of that work is about reframing it and saying, hang on a minute, this could be a really good opportunity. So let's look at how we reframe it. So, and people as well, it's really interesting. One of the things I've noticed when I coach people, particularly if they're in their 40s and been doing a similar role for a long time, we kind of get really attached to our identity. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm an accountant, that's who I am, that's what I do. No, that's one part of you. What about all the other parts you want to integrate into your life? What about that maybe more creative side that you've suppressed? You know, and even if you don't want to change out of an industry, for example, like, I don't know, say you still love engineering, but you might want to find a more creative engineering route or something like that. But a lot of people that I meet kind of really, I work quite closely with them to ensure that they're not attaching too much to their previous job title and that identity. You know, very often and that's about change as well, isn't it? It's like, this is what I know, so I'm going to really cling on to it. But actually, we're not our job titles, we're much more than that, you know, and that's part of the exploration that we go through.
And I agree with that. And also, if your peers at work are singing that same tune, so to speak, then you just get drawn into that. Oh, what are you? Oh, I'm an accountant. Oh, I'm a lawyer. Oh, I'm a solicitor, or whatever. And then they go into that bubble, into that world, and that's all they do. Like me, I was working in the mailroom, I was working in accounts. There's no way I thought I would have been a driving instructor. There's no way on this earth back then I thought I would be doing what I'm doing now. So, you know, you have to think out of that box and look at what's available for you out there as well.
But give yourself permission to think outside the box. Do you know what I mean? It's like, actually, just because you've lived your life one way to a certain degree, it doesn't mean it has to be that way forever. And I remember, you know, when I first went self-employed, I've been self-employed for years doing different things, you know, and then my coaching's been going a few years now. But, you know, sort of your upbringing can play a big part in that. You know, I talk about it a lot, how when I grew up, it was just awful, you know, like really dire economic circumstances. And if you had said to me, okay, Sarah, say I was like, I don't know, 22, 23, 24, and you had said to me, you are going to be self-employed and you're going to love it in about 10 years time, I would have said, are you kidding me? No way. Not after what I've seen my parents go through and the struggles growing up and what it was like in the 80s and the 70s. And now I just can't think of anything better, you know. So it's amazing. Fantastic. How you shift. I think you kind of suppress yourself sometimes, don't you? Yeah,
fantastic. We got some more comments as well.
Right.
Christine Williams. Hi, Christine. Christine says, really timely content. I've just been made redundant. Well, Christine, please connect with Sarah if you need any guidance on how she can help you to what career you want to change. Or come and speak to me and speak on stage. No, I'm only joking.
Yeah.
And we got Karen Dubry. Hi, Karen. Thanks for coming along. We got Mishika Riaz. I hope I've spelled that right. She's calling from she said she's calling from Germany, and she says, hello everyone. Shakil says, thank you, Sarah. Shakil also says, looking forward to meeting all the people who are coming to the Women in Business Conference on the 4th of August. It's going to be fantastic. Also, Shakil's going to be he's an amazing speaker, an amazing friend, and he's got lots of value that he's going to be providing there as well. Hi, Joanne Morgan. Thanks for coming along. Mishika said, I sold my practice about 14 years ago. I've just hit my limit. I've just hit my limit after saving. Oh, this is a long one. We've got to take a deep breath for this one. After saving 400 marriages, I was done completely drained. I lost myself. I had no idea what I would do, but I was completely unhappy with my life. Today, about to celebrate my 13th year of the Lioness Academy. I'm so grateful for my coaches, my mentors, pushing me out of the comfort zone. Thank you definitely. Very, very much.
Yeah.
Hi, Joan Carr. Thanks for coming along. And Mishika said no. So I'm assuming that's I pronounced her name wrong. Sorry. Sorry. So Sarah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you some questions in relation to that. So what stops people making the change?
Yeah, so we've talked about fear of the unknown. I think that's an overriding trait of us as a species, I guess. Very often we've talked about already that kind of loss of identity of, I'm really attached to my job title, my profession. So sometimes there's an attachment. There's also sometimes people feel a bit guilty about maybe letting their company down, particularly if it's a company that they've grown up with and they've seen develop. So sometimes there can be that fear of letting the company down. We talked about identity. Sometimes as well, just the thought of being new in a job, you know, being the new kid in town, it's like, oh my God, I really do not want to go through that again. Sometimes comfort zone, as you talked about, and it's really weird how we can be very happy in an uncomfortable situation. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, and to me, it's like the tipping point usually comes where the pain of staying where you are is much more painful than any pain relating to the change. Usually it's like that's when the balance sort of tips. So there's loads and loads of different reasons. Finances obviously are, you know, key. So people are worried about finances and security. I remember once I was working for a company, and it was amazing. It was quite a big company, and the guy that I was sitting talking to, it was when I first started working for myself in my PR and my communications roles. And he sat down and said, well, I guess the good thing about my job is, because he was permanent, he said, I have security. And I thought, oh my gosh, it really struck me, because the whole company was going through a massive restructuring, you know, massive restructuring. And I think within a few months, his job had definitely changed. So I think we do cling on to this idea of security and finances. But actually, if you can go and carve out your own career or your own business, you've probably got a lot more control than you think, you know, or a lot more ability to earn money in different ways, not just from one source, as you know. I think sometimes, people sort of cling to old values, as we've talked about, job titles, status, and just being comfortable being uncomfortable. You know, sometimes people, have you ever had those people at work? I call them like the drains, not the radiators, where they kind of just love to moan. Has anyone worked with people like that? And it's just like, it doesn't matter if you try and offer a solution. It's like, what? Hang on a minute. No, hang on a minute. I'm quite happy moaning. Leave me alone. So sometimes, you know, we can be a bit like that. And I'm sure we've all had moments ourselves where it's like, yeah, I probably might have been like that a while ago. And then you realise, actually, that's just suppressing my energy. So, yeah. And sometimes, you know, sometimes people feel like, oh, you know, it's better the devil you know. You know, I know this company. I know how it works. So
it's comfortable. They're comfortable with that as well.
Yeah,
they're comfortable
being unhappy.
Unfortunately. So what are the typical? So what are the typical fears in this area then?
Yeah, I think again, unknown, change, money, security. The big one that I come across a lot when I'm coaching individuals, because sometimes if somebody's really overwhelmed, and I can hear it on the phone, because as coaches and consultants, I'm sure we all do the same, you can hear what's going on in your clients' voices. Sometimes what I get people in for like intensive one-day sessions, or you can do sessions over a month, or you can do like a blitz session where we spend the day together and just really dust the whole house from top to bottom. And people very often say, I don't know what I want to do. And my job is almost to like be the detective, be a bit of a Sherlock Holmes, and sort of tease out and use the different tools and techniques, because it's amazing how often somebody will say, and it's usually as they're just about to go, say, well, do you know what? I've always fancied having an ice cream van and touring around loads of festivals. And I'm like, whoa, stop, put your coat down. Right, come on. What was that? You know, it's like we're scared to admit to ourselves. And we tell ourselves these stories about, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. And sometimes that is true. But the answers are there somewhere. It's just about pulling them out, you know. And as I say, being a bit of a detective. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So how do you, I suppose the $1 million question, dollar question is, how do you help them then?
Yeah. So basically, I think what a lot of people say is that I give them that clarity, and I kind of hold the space for them to really offload. I mean, you know, what coaching is about: listening to people, not judging, because it's amazing how often people will say things and say, I'm telling you stuff that I've not told my partner. It's just really good to be listened to, you know, and people are like scared to admit who they are. It's really heartbreaking, actually, when you sort of feel, you know, and people kind of go, oh, maybe I have been living a bit of a lie in whatever area of life it is, you know, that I've been living in. So basically, what I tend to do is use a 3-step process. It's like regroup, reboot, reinvent. I mean, what kind of coach would I be if I didn't have a 3-step process? You know, like it really helps break it down for people. So regrouping is really about identifying where your career fits in with your life now, what drives you as a person. So if you're somebody that likes variety, working in a team environment, then being a data programmer sitting in a room doing all that stuff is not going to feed your soul. So I really want to feed people's souls and get them encouraged about, you know, what their next step is. So it's about your values, because our values, which is like our sat nav, our internal sat nav, they're the things that drive our decisions and our behaviors. So it's really important to identify what are your values in life and what are your values in your career. And then we'll go through things such as like skills audits, you know, skills gaps, recognizing strengths and weaknesses. So we do all that kind of detective work. And then along the way, we do this like reboot on the mindset. So we reboot everything, because along the way, what will happen is that, and I'm sure we've all heard it, where people say, yeah, but I'm too old to change my career. Oh yeah, but I don't know what to do. Oh, but I've got all these responsibilities, da, 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 da. So I sort of help rewire that mindset to make it a lot more open and flexible. And that rewiring, once you start doing it, is that flexibility can feed into so many different other areas of your life. So we do all of that. And we look at like, what in detail, what environment do you want to be in? What location? What kind of pay or remuneration or recognition do you want? What's, you know, those details about where you want to work, how you want to work. Is it your own business? Is it going freelance? Is it about going freelance and using that to hustle your way to a new career, you know, your newer career over the longer term? And then reinvent is really about setting the plan forward and going, right, okay, we've got a clear idea of where you want to go. So how do we break this down into baby steps for you to get where you need to be? So it's like a route map. So yeah, so that's what I do. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Everybody's different. Yeah, everybody's different. So
yeah,
it all shakes out in different ways.
It's like most things in life. There's not a wrong or a right way. If that works for you, you have a model in place. You have lots of successful clients.
Yeah.
That's what matters. Shaquille says Sarah speaks a lot of sense. Looking forward to the talk on the 4th of August. Thank you, Shaquille. We're looking forward to that as well.
What's Shaquille speaking about, Des? Do you know? Shaquille, what are you speaking about?
He focuses on public speaking, confidence on stage,
great.
Facebook Live training, and all those kind of things as well. All about delivery, and we're having a live after as well. Anyway, so yeah.
Great.
He's a good person to know, and he's based in the Midlands as well. Anyway,
brilliant.
So that's good.
Cool.
Sophie Edmund, please connect with him anyway. Sophie Edmund, hi Sophie, thanks for coming along. Ray Folks, hi Ray. I said, grew up with him as a young boy. I hope you're well. I hope your family's well. So that's if they come to you. So people that are watching this live now, so we now know how you can help them, but how can they start to help themselves from now?
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you wanted to, I've got my website. You've got www.sarah-j.com, and there's loads of blogs and resources on there and videos. So there's a lot on there already, and on my social media channels that will help you. And I do a bit of press work, so there's articles. So just follow me on social media, have a look at my blogs. I think the first thing to do is really kind of step into that fear. I think it is about stepping into that and being comfortable with the uncertainty, and maybe even seeing it as a bit of an adventure, as something exciting. You know, it's a nice problem to have, isn't it, in a way? You know, you might be reinventing yourself and doing something completely different in a short while. So yeah, that's what I would say. Like, really sort of get away from that idea of having to know all the answers straight away. Sometimes it's like, you know, when you shake up a bottle of Coke or something and the bubbles rise to the top, you know. So yeah. So
fantastic. We got a Manny Wolf that's just come on. He's from the States. He has a large speaking marketing network. We did an amazing live. We did an amazing live last week, Manny Wolf, and I'm going to be bringing him over to speak at one of my massive Women in Business conferences next year. fantastic guy, knows his stuff, well connected. So all those guys on the live, please connect with him as well. We had an amazing live, had lots of feedback from that as well, inboxes literally as well. So Sarah, so what other steps can people take to, you know, to lessen the fear?
I think it's about planning and like being true to yourself. Now, I work with some people who are very happy to go, bang, I just cannot bear this anymore. I'm going to move and move now. But for some people, it's about formulating a plan. So I think it's very much that if you are struggling and you're really unhappy, you need to get help, because sometimes we can't, you know, I have a coach myself, you know, for certain areas of running my business and things like that, because I'm too close to it. I'm too close to it. I need someone else who's objective and neutral to point it out. So I would always say get some help, whether that's from a careers advisor, a mentor, somebody you know within your networking group. Sometimes asking friends and family is a bit of a tricky one, because they might sort of not want you to change, because it makes things feel maybe a little bit uncomfortable for them. So just take any advice with a pinch of salt, because like careers advisors, people like that trained to deal with it.
I agree with you. Sorry to interrupt you. I agree with you.
Yeah, go for
it. When I was considering, when I first became a driving instructor, I was working for AA driving school, and I remember I was saying to certain members of my family, I want to set up Des O'Connor's driving school. I don't want to work for them. I'm paying them a lot of money each week. That money could be mine. And I wanted to set up Des O'Connor. I did set up Des O'Connor's driving school. It's very successful. I was on TV. I had about 10, 15 instructors working for me. But there were certain people in my family that were saying, oh, just stay with BSM because they provide you with the pupils, and how it works. You pay them a franchise, which is a fee for them to supply you with the work. And I didn't want to do that. I just didn't want to do that. So I wanted to set up my own business. It was a risk, and I get what you're saying, and it was fearful, but I put it and I went for it, and it was very successful. So I get what you're saying when you got people around you, and that's why it's very important to have positive, like-minded, goal-driven, high value people around you on a daily basis. And unfortunately, some of those are not going to be your family and your best friends. Like you can go to an event, Sarah, as you know, you go to an event like mine, and there's people in the room, and you just leave there thinking, wow, I thought I've known you for years, because you just connect.
Because you connect energetically around, actually, this is about, you know, all of your speakers, and, you know, I've been to like a few of your events now, you know, there's a lot of energy in the room about whatever area of life it is. It's about stepping into it. I have to ask you, I've never asked you this question. What was it about becoming a driving instructor? What was it that appealed to you?
I haven't studied this for years. What happened was, my sister Maureen, I had a sister, and she just passed her driving test. Okay, and we used to go and visit my granny when she was alive, and we'd go and see her on Saturday. She was elderly, and we'd go and spend the day with her and her husband. And it was a family day. But my sister had a Fiat Panda. If you remember what a Fiat Panda was all those years
ago. Bit like a hairdryer on wheels.
And she just passed her driving test. She just passed her driving test recently, and she I don't know how she passed. She's one of those ones. I don't know how she passed. Anyway, she passed her driving test, and I had my car. I had my license. I don't know, maybe 6 years prior to that. And so basically, I was helping her, giving her that confidence, driving to and from my grandparents. And she used to say to me, "Oh, you're really patient. You're really a good instructor." Blah 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 blah. And I thought, yeah, I'm just helping you. You're my sister. It's not a problem. Blah blah blah. And she said, you should maybe looking at becoming a driving instructor. And I inquired about it, and that was it. That was that turning point, because of I was sitting in the car coaching my sister, to giving her that confidence on how to get to where she was getting to.
Yeah, so it's not as much about the confidence and the ability to see family, which would speak to your values. Do you know what I mean? About supporting family, all of that stuff, rather than. So it just shows how I never knew I had that in me. I knew I spoke to a lot of people, but I was employed in an American oil company at the time. I was working in the mailroom.
as well. So I was the guy delivering a mail into the room. Good morning, put your mail in your inbox. And
Yeah.
I never thought that I'll be teaching people to drive and those kind of things as well.
Yeah.
So that was how it happened. So thanks for asking me. I haven't shared that for years.
That's interesting. It's interesting, and just seeing like, and it's almost like, you know, are there any red threads between that and what you do now? Because a lot of what you do now is about supporting women, giving women confidence, albeit on a stage rather than on the road. So, yeah, interesting.
There's always a link. And we have our story.
That's it. Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Have our story where we're getting to. So, when were the fearful of your career change yourself, Sarah? When you was changing your career, I'm sure you was fearful. When was that?
Yeah. I think it was. I think it was when I first went self-employed. You know, because
that's a big step, isn't it?
Yeah, because I've talked about before, growing up, not having a lot of money, parents working really, really hard, the environment being quite tough, the economic environment and the social environment. And it was like, nope. And that kind of like, my parents are baby boomers, you know, and that whole, you've got to get a job, stay with it, security. And as we know, that's all gone out the window now. But I think as I went through my career, I had a really clear plan of like, right, this is my next step, this is my next step, this is my next step. So I was always working to a plan. And I did go freelance, and I went freelance, started doing freelance communications work. And then I got a job offer that was just too good to be true. And I was having this dialogue. It was like, there was like the angel and the devil almost going, nah. And I went back into permanent employment, and I sort of compromised my desire for freedom, for mental freedom, for freedom of work, you know, all of those kinds of different aspects I wanted. And I went back into the permanent role. And talk about the law of attraction and manifestation. Oh my goodness, because I went into the role and it was great. It was a good job, and I got a lot from it. And it was a really good package as well. And I said, I'm only staying in this role for 3 years. Sarah, I'm making a promise for 3 years, because I felt like 3 years sounded like a good time to be in a job. You know, I wouldn't look too flaky if I quit after 3 years. Anyway, literally 3 years to the day, almost, if not the exact 3 years, I walked into the office, knew something was a bit off, and I was made redundant. And to me, that was like the universe whacking me over the head with a saucepan or Mallet's mallet, or you remember Mallet's mallet on the TV thing, kind of going, hello, remember me, you know. And it was amazing. Yeah.
And look what I said, same thing with me. I was teaching my sister, and then I heard about the redundancies, and I started studying to be a driving instructor, and they paid for the course, BSM. They paid for my course at BSM.
Yeah, so, sometimes if you open yourself to this stuff, I'm not saying we have to take action. I'm not a believer in law of attraction. I'm just going to meditate and a Mercedes is going to fall on my head and into my lap. But, you know, you have to take that kind of action towards it. But sometimes things just line up, and it's like, oh my goodness, you know, I have been, you know, creating that in a way. So it was weird, 3 years. And that was scary. But, you know, I've really enjoyed it, because I get to work with different people, do different things. And it gives me that variety that I love. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, good. Well done for you, and thanks for all these tips.
Pleasure.
Sarah Jenkins says, hi Sarah, love what you are saying.
Thank you.
Found that, you know, Tracy anyway, she's my organizer of my events on the day. She's making sure everything runs well. She says, hi Sarah, love what you are saying. I have found that saying yes to opportunities is also a great way to upskill.
Definitely. Yeah. And actually as well, once you start looking, if you need to learn something or develop a skill, there's so much free stuff out there. Just have a look online. There's free training courses. You might be eligible for grants. This is
great. This is great free stuff as well. You know, you're right.
Exactly.
Facebook Live.
Yeah. Website. There's loads of stuff on there. So yeah.
Brilliant. Webinars, lots of other lives as well. Elizabeth Lucas says, great advice. You'll meet Elizabeth in 2 weeks anyway. She's coming up from London. Shaquille
Brilliant.
says, security is comfort to a fool. That's what my first mentor in business used to say.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, that's good for sure. Yeah, I mean, what is security anyway? Security, like a lot of these attributes, have to come from within, don't they? And actually, do you know what? If you feel a bit wobbly, there's nothing wrong with that. It's about embracing the bits of you where you're on fire and in the flow, but also embracing the bit that's like maybe a bit scared and a bit worried, you know, like not denying and creating that resistance between the parts of yourself, but embracing the whole.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, I was making reference to, there was people around me that didn't want me to set up my own driving school. Every one of them was employed. Every one of them wouldn't take risks, and the majority of them are still more or less doing the same thing 20 years ago.
Yeah. And that's fair enough if that works for people, you know.
I'm not putting them down. I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying they're still doing that, and I want.
But you
more
do
than
have
that.
to be, you want something different, you know. And I think we're living, you know, despite everything that's going on in the media, as we see, but we're living at a great time to really define yourself. I think, you know, what with like technology, social media, the way things are, you know, it's like we don't even know what jobs are going to exist in a few years' time. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what an exciting time to go, do you know what? There's so many different avenues I could go down, because I know when I was growing up, I mean, what was the internet, for goodness sake? I was playing computer games on a cassette machine, you know, like that's all we had.
Atari? Was it Atari?
Yeah, something like that. You put the cassette in the tape player.
Atari. Yeah, it was Atari, and it had Pac-Man and Space Invaders and all that stuff.
Space Invaders, Frogger.
Oh, they were the days, weren't they? Jeez, oh God. Dude, we're showing our age, Sarah, so we got to stop.
Yeah, exactly. I need to get a better selfie lamp. We're really in our 30s, everyone. Jan Mayfield, hi Jan, we did a live last weekend. She says good evening, and she is also one of the speakers in 2 weeks as well. So fantastic. We've got Simona. Thank you for coming on board, Simona. So listen, Sarah, thank you yet again for all these amazing steps and tips for everybody on this live. Now, how can people get hold of you, please? Because I'm sure people want to connect with you. Yeah, sure. So you can, my website, I'm not clever enough to figure out how to type on here, actually, if I'm being honest. But anyway.
Put it in after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah, www.sarah-letterj.com. So I'll put it in the comments. But yeah, feel free to connect with me on social media. I'd love to connect with some of the speakers. Really looking forward to the event. Looks like an amazing lineup. Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be an amazing event up into the lovely West Midlands. I can't wait, and we're having another live next week anyway, I think, again, aren't we?
So that's right, on a slightly different subject. I think the subject next time is something around how do you know when it's time to change your job? So that's a biggie.
Not relationship, job.
Well, actually, it's weird. You know, sometimes, sorry, I know we've got to finish, but sometimes I talk to people about their careers, and then it's like, actually, can I talk to you about my relationship as well, you know, and other things that are going on in their lives? Because we can't always separate the part. I'm sure you get that as well.
I tell you what. I tell you what, if we had that title, we put that in relationship instead of career, we bombarded. Everybody will be tuning in. It's quite interesting.
Really?
Anything to do with relationships, it just goes on like that. But that's another subject. I usually do those. I usually hold those types of lives when I have a dating and relationship conference.
And I went to your one in I went to your one
in February.
February, March. Yeah, it was really good.
February.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Cool.
So
Brilliant.
So great.
All right.
So thanks very much, Sarah. Everybody else, Elizabeth says thank you, Sarah, for sharing. Thank you, Elizabeth. Tracy Jenkins says thank you, Sarah and Des. Thanks, Tracy. And Elizabeth said great subject. So all you guys on the live, if you can do us a favor, please share this, because if somebody might be one of your friends that's considering changing their career and they may connect with Sarah, or one of Sarah's tips could just change their life and stuff as well. So please connect with Sarah. She's very approachable, and this lady knows her stuff. Trust me. All right. So have a lovely weekend, everybody. Sarah, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And
thanks, Des.
Get some
Thanks, everyone.
Get some rest, and we'll connect next week.
See you later.
See you later, everybody. Thanks for
everyone.
coming along.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend. Bye.